In 1947, deep in the heart of New Mexico, a radio operator intercepted an unusual signal of mysterious origin. Alarmed, he reached out to a colleague who confirmed detecting the same strange bursts on his equipment. As the operator traced the source of the signal, he realized it originated near Roswell. Driven by curiosity, he set out to investigate. Once on site, he found nothing unusual, until his dog began reacting aggressively to something invisible to the human eye. Following the dog, the man was suddenly enveloped by an intense beam of blinding white light. He was never seen again. Fast forward to 2023 in Antarctica, scientists at a remote research facility made a stunning discovery. While excavating the permafrost, they unearthed an unidentified object buried over 3 meters beneath the ice. Unsure of its nature or purpose, they reached out to NASA for guidance. Meanwhile, at the University of California, Professor Julian Rahm was lecturing on cryptology. He discussed how communication extends beyond speech, pointing out how animals convey meaning without words. During his lecture, a student flirted with him openly, much to the professor's discomfort. Afterward, Julian was summoned by the university chancellor, Dr. Beckham, an esteemed scientist. Preparing for a difficult discussion about his personal life, Julian was surprised to find the chancellor focused on a different matter entirely. Dr. Beckham revealed that NASA satellites had detected an unusual formation beneath Antarctic ice. Measuring approximately 6 meters long and 3 meters wide, the object was emitting a persistent radio signal. A spectrogram of the signal was shared with the university, and Julian, as the institution's leading cryptography expert, was tasked with analyzing it. Upon examining the data, Julian concluded that the signal was an incredibly potent coded message, far more advanced than any technology humans currently possessed. At the same time, a laboratory in the Falkland Islands picked up the identical signal and relayed their findings to the U.S. Julian was soon dispatched to the Antarctic research base to investigate further. His journey was turbulent as the plane flew through an intense storm that reduced visibility to near zero. Despite the treacherous conditions, the aircraft landed safely, and Julian was greeted by Nayla Olson, a staff member surprised by his arrival during the off-season. She guided him to the underground research station situated 20 meters below the icy surface. Housing genetic laboratories and agricultural facilities, the station was a hub of scientific innovation. While Nayla attempted to settle him into his quarters, Julian insisted on examining the discovery immediately, especially after learning that his old colleague, Dr. Alexei Gaha, was eager to meet him. Dr. Gaha introduced Julian to the mysterious find, a block of ice encasing the enigmatic object. Despite the station's low temperatures, the ice was melting at an alarming rate. Julian quickly deduced that the technology embedded within the ice was far beyond humanity's current capabilities. When Alexei was called away, Julian found himself alone with the artifact. Compelled by an unexplainable urge, he touched the icy surface, triggering a surge of static energy and vivid visions of his past. As he struggled to process the experience, biologist Kate Breer, his former romantic partner, interrupted him. Their tense reunion hinted at unresolved feelings, though Kate maintained a professional distance. Kate escorted Julian to his quarters, warning him to avoid disrupting the station's delicate balance, especially among the female crew members. Julian dismissed her warning, but as he lay down to rest, he felt an unusual tingling sensation in his hand. That night, his dreams were filled with vivid, incomprehensible imagery. Disturbed, Julian ventured back to the artifact. Along the way, he noticed wet footprints leading down the corridor. Following them, he sensed an otherworldly presence. Suddenly, his mind was flooded with visions of Earth as seen from space, and alien figures appeared in flashes. Overwhelmed, he let out a cry and woke abruptly. The next morning, Nayla invited him to breakfast and took him to the station's greenhouse, where genetically modified plants were being cultivated. Before entering, Nayla underwent a full-body decontamination process, emphasizing the strict protocols in place. Inside, Kate and geneticist Michael Straw were already working. Julian's jealousy flared as he observed Michael's easy rapport with Kate. However, Kate swiftly redirected his attention to the pressing importance of their work, reminding him of the monumental task at hand. The U.S. government has poured extensive resources into a groundbreaking space colonization initiative, with genetics playing a pivotal role in its development. Amid internal discussions, officials revisit the career of Professor Julian Rahm. Once a promising investigator in a NASA-led alien research project, Julian's work was cut short when funding dried up, forcing him to return to academia. Now, fate has reunited him with former colleagues from that project, Alexei, Kate, and Julian, at the Antarctic Research Station. As Julian works tirelessly to decode the mysterious signal, he takes a break to meet Graham, a communications specialist, who was the first to detect the transmission. The two discuss the possibility of an extraterrestrial origin, though Julian remains skeptical about jumping to conclusions. Later, during a communal lunch, Alexei introduces Julian to the rest of the station's crew, including temporary pilots grounded by the worsening weather. Among them is Michael, whose dismissive attitude toward Julian sparks tension. However, Julian's sharp wit swiftly deflates Michael's arrogance, earning the group's respect. The team soon gathers to examine the rapidly melting ice block encasing the enigmatic object. Julian proposes erecting an antenna to receive the signal directly, allowing for a mathematical analysis. After running the experiment, Julian continues decoding the transmission and begins to suspect that the message's opening sequence resembles a dire warning. Meanwhile, NASA analysts compare the current signal to one detected in New Mexico in 1947. The results are shocking. The patterns are identical. In response, NASA orders Julian's full involvement and summons Dr. Beckham, his university supervisor, to their headquarters. Back at the Antarctic station, chaos erupts when a loud crash signals the collapse of the ice block. Rushing to the site, the team discovers a bizarre structure resembling a prehistoric oyster, crackling with intense electrical energy. It's clear this isn't a meteorite. Instead, it appears to be some form of alien black box, potentially a distress beacon that has been transmitting ever since it landed on Earth. As Julian tries to explain the significance of the find, skepticism fills the room. One scientist points out a visible crack on the capsule's surface and suggests opening it for further study. Kate, however, warns of potential biological dangers, including unknown viruses. Michael counters that the station's containment protocols should mitigate any risks. Meanwhile, at the White House, Dr. Beckham theorizes about the broader implications of alien interference while being briefed on the situation. The urgency escalates when it's revealed that a Soviet nuclear submarine is already en route to Antarctica. At the station, Alexei examines a fragment of the fractured material and concludes that it isn't stone, but rather a carbon-based alloy with unique properties. This discovery sparks a breakthrough when Naila compares the signal decoding process to solving a puzzle, suggesting the need for a key. Inspired, Julian identifies a critical sequence in the signal, translating it into a chilling warning: do not open the object. Frantically rushing to the hangar, Julian and Naila find the team just as they manage to breach the capsule. A thick, viscous substance spills out, instantly killing one of the scientists upon contact. Moments later, a violent explosion disrupts the station, knocking out power to critical systems. The surviving crew regroups in the dark, conducting a frantic headcount. Everyone but the deceased scientist is accounted for. Armed with flashlights, Julian and Kate cautiously investigate the capsule's interior. Within, they catch a glimpse of an alien figure, its form both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Suddenly, one of the crew members collapses, succumbing to a rapid and unexplained illness. As the situation spirals further out of control, more survivors succumb to the mysterious illness, fueling fears that a deadly virus has been unleashed. At the White House, a Russian submarine commander reports that his vessel is armed with multiple warheads, ready to neutralize the threat at the Antarctic station if necessary. Meanwhile, the remaining crew at the station observe the alien through remote cameras. They theorize that the virus attacks from within, targeting the body at a cellular level. Attempts to send a distress signal are thwarted by the relentless storm, isolating the team. The grim reality sets in. They might already be infected, and returning to the mainland could doom humanity. While some cling to the hope of immunity, others are less optimistic. Julian suggests cutting power to the plantations and fully securing the hangar to prevent further contamination, but Michael fiercely opposes the plan. As tensions escalate, the alien mysteriously disappears from its containment area. Determined to locate it, Julian organizes a search, instructing the team to gather weapons, cut the plantation's power, and activate auxiliary emergency lights. Fear mounts as Michael succumbs to hysteria, while Alexei urges the group to focus on the alien's potential actions rather than their own fears. Julian eventually finds the alien hiding and, in an extraordinary moment, establishes telepathic communication with it. The creature shares its journey to Earth, revealing a story of desperation and survival. However, before Julian can relay this to the others, panic erupts. The search team spots Julian near the alien, and in a moment of fear, one of them fires. The alien is killed, dissolving into nothingness. Julian, visibly shaken, explains that he felt the alien's terror and innocence. Contact is finally made with the mainland, and Julian reports that only 7 members of the crew remain alive, though all appear healthy. Dr. Beckham then delivers a chilling revelation. The object they found is a survival capsule, similar to one that crashed near Roswell in 1947. That capsule had transmitted an SOS signal, and scientists discovered that the aliens inside unknowingly carried a virus capable of eradicating entire ecosystems. The current situation mirrors that catastrophe, and the only solution is the complete sterilization of the station. Beckham warns Julian that his submarine is en route with orders to destroy the facility. As the submarine nears firing range, the station's crew conducts blood tests to check for signs of infection. Though their cells appear normal, the presence of a hidden virus remains a possibility. Opinions split. Michael demands an escape plan, while Julian argues that fleeing could endanger the entire planet. A heated confrontation ensues, and Michael, along with an allied pilot, attempts to overpower the group. In the scuffle, Alexei and Kate are injured, and several others are killed. Determined to flee, Michael and the pilot discover an alternative exit and arm themselves. As they race through the dying plantations, they notice the plants withering and collapsing, a clear sign that the virus is lethal to all organic life. The pilot hesitates, refusing to continue, but Michael ruthlessly kills him and presses on alone. Michael's escape leads him to the outer passages of the station, where he is enveloped by a blinding light. Overcome by panic, he suffocates, unable to adapt to the environment. Julian follows shortly after and discovers that the light is part of an alien containment field. Unlike Michael, Julian quickly learns to adjust his breathing, allowing him to survive. Re-establishing telepathic contact with the alien species, Julian uncovers the truth about their intentions and the virus. With only minutes left before the submarine's missiles strike, Julian returns to the survivors and convinces them to follow him into the light. He demonstrates how to survive the environment, leading Kate, Alexei, and another crew member, Shelley, to safety. As the missiles obliterate the station, the group escapes aboard an alien spacecraft hidden beneath the ice. The government launches a cover-up, attributing the station's destruction to a nuclear reactor meltdown that claimed the lives of all 13 scientists. Meanwhile, the alien ship carrying the surviving humans departs Earth, heading toward the stars. Although the film borrows heavily from familiar alien invasion tropes, it's salvaged by strong performances from the cast. While it lacks originality and bold execution, the emotional depth of the characters makes it a respectable effort for its time.